Welcome to the Breakout, a film podcast special where we interview up and coming talent about their craft and work in the movies, TV, and entertainment field. Today, we're going to be talking to my homie, Philip, an up and coming actor who is going to share about his journey so far on an up and coming short film that is about to come out July 19th and will premiere on YouTube. But anyways, how you doing, Philip? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah,
It's been a
glad to be here.
second.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for also being the first person I interview for this segment, the breakout. I just want to start off with what got you into acting, man?
Yeah, so I got into acting because my sister first got into acting. She was probably, oh man, I mean, I must have been like 5, 6, or 7, I want to say. So she was like in her teens by then, almost
Mm-hmm.
approaching like her teenage years. And yeah, she wanted to get into acting. And so my mom just, did a bunch of research. We went to like a talent showcase. You basically like do like a cold read. They have like maybe like a little script or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. You do a cold read in front of some agents, and if they like you, they kind of just hit you up basically. An agent liked her, and
Mm-hmm.
so my mom kind of just took me along the ride. So we were all in this like agent's office. Yeah, I was like super young, honestly. I was like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
And during that process, the agent was just like, "Hey, like, does your son want to act?" And I'm just there like, "Oh, yeah," like just like randomly. But yeah, eventually, like it just like didn't work out, I guess. And so years later, I think I was like 10 at this point,
Mm-hmm.
my mom found the paperwork when it's like, hey, like, do you still want to act? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And so she found an acting class, and just for children, teaching you like kind of the basics of acting. And then like the end of the course, there was like a talent showcase again. So some agents came, and it seemed like I had an interest like from one, but then they like were like, actually, you need more of a resume. So it would be good if you started background acting, which basically, is the background of every like TV film, characters you see kind of moving in the back, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes every now and then you have like a random little side character like say a line or, do something. And so that's like all the background world. There was one background acting gig I did
Mm-hmm.
for the show Community. I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did a I did a background acting, and I met Ken Jeong's character. I forgot his name in the show, but
Yo.
uh, I don't know if your schools had this, but there was like a segment during homeroom where there was like student news that they would
Mm-hmm.
play on the TVs, and so I like was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So then like you had to like audition for it. It turns out that the teacher that was running that was an actor himself, and more so, he was starting a management company for actors. And so
Wow.
he saw that I had like experience in background acting, and he was like, "Hey, I saw you had experience. I want to let you know that I'm an actor and I'm starting a management company, and I'd love to represent you if you want to take it seriously and get you an agent." And I was like, "Yeah." So we worked together. He had some nice close friends that kind of also were did like little workshops with me for acting, kind
Mm-hmm.
of prepared me for that auditioning process to get an agent out in LA. I had three sort of like meetings with different agencies in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and they all went really well. They all were like, "We want to represent you," and so I got to choose. Super blessed to choose that. So we went with an agent. So yeah, that was I got an agent, and then just started getting submitted to commercials, to TV shows, to
Mm-hmm.
movies, whatever it was. My first commercial I ever did was a commercial for Khan Academy. I remember I was like
Mm-hmm.
super nervous and exciting, but it was so like it was fun. It was like it's a very easy shoot. Um, that was cool. The next one I did was like a Coca-Cola commercial. That one was pretty cool. That one actually might have been a few years after, but that's kind of when I found out about like the union, the SAG-AFTRA union,
Mm-hmm.
Screen Actors Guild. And that was my first one, first commercial, first sort of environment where it was just like a union job.
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, I ended up doing a couple more and joining the union because after a certain number of jobs that you do for the union, you get you kind of have to join. So I knew I had, a craft I was developing, just continuing to learn and going to classes as well is like a big thing as an actor, I feel like,
Mhm.
always just practicing acting in general. And so, yeah, it's kind of how it all started. And
Okay, man. Just wondering too, it sounds like you've been working in the industry for like a pretty long time now. So I was wondering, are there any changes that are positive or negative that have either bothered you or have like helped you in the sense?
right now, there's definitely a lot of differences. So
Mhm,
I've been honestly in a little hiatus recently.
mhm,
Other than my friend's film, Kill 'Em Now. I've been in the process of trying to build reel and build up, just a new resume really to find a new agent
mhm,
because I left my agency years ago to kind
mhm.
of focus on school and kind of just see like what I wanted to do really.
Yeah.
I just had to take a break because I don't know. I think it's funny like when I think of myself like beforehand being involved in like all the auditions and the auditioning process. I mean, after COVID, it changed so much. Like but like beforehand, you would like go in and meet the casting director, and just make a lot of different connections, even too, with a lot of actors or and actresses. To now, where it's mainly self tapes, and there's like pros and cons to it for sure. I feel like ever since self tapes kind of became the norm, it's just
Mhm,
been harder in general. But I see a lot of people still have good amounts of success. So, there's still hope in there. It's just maybe a little bit more difficult. And
mhm,
even hearing too, like I've heard of just like the process of looking through all the videos as a casting director. And it's like, I mean, you're given maybe like what like as soon as like 5 seconds, and they're like either like you or you don't. And that's not a lot of time. Like if you were to watch a video of someone auditioning for 5 seconds and just being like, yeah, or yeah, it's like there's a there's a big importance to making a first impression now. Whereas, you can kind of like meeting people in person, it felt more personal,
mhm,
like you can kind of I don't want to say you like talk your way into it, but like you genuinely can meet a person and be like, hey, like make a relationship with the casting director, and now the casting director kind of knows you. So again, it's like building those connections, much more in like an authentic way. You don't want to. I mean, maybe there isn't anything wrong with like trying, to maneuver that way, but
mhm.
like I love that authenticity then. But now it's a little bit more difficult. I've heard of things where it's like, yeah, not that you have to have like a certain number of followers on social media, but it's like if you have that, a big following already, it's a lot easier to make a first impression to be like, oh, this guy, yeah, like look at him, he has like 80K followers already. So there's that aspect that like has seeped its way into acting. You have to kind of fight your way into projects. Fight as in like, work your ass off basically, if I'm being
Mhm,
real. Even work in California, like, is from what I hear, like very scarce as well. A lot of new TV shows, even stuff that I find auditioning on Actors Access, they're, like in different states and looking for local hires in those states rather than, filming here in California. There's a lot of challenges, I think, in today's industry, but at the end of the day, if you want it, you're gonna go for it. I always think of there was this one interview that Seth Rogen did, and like Seth Rogen's so like he can be serious, but he's so like nonchalant, kind of funny in general. And I think he got asked like like something along the lines of like what would you tell like an actor who is like not struggling, but like been in the industry a lot, and like how do you encourage them, to keep going? And he basically was just like, well, just don't quit. Like that's
mhm.
kind of it, right? Like just don't stop. And so yeah, I mean the process right now might be slow. It might be, what it is, but as long as I don't stop and keep going, I think something will come of it. So
Just wondering too. So when it comes to either auditioning for a role or even learning about a role, in your personal opinion, what draws you to a character? Like, what makes you want to be like, I want to be or play this character?
that is that's a good question. Um As an up and coming actor,
Mm,
it's best to not really have like such like a closed mind, like really
mm,
kind of just explore acting overall, right? And if, like a lot of great actors that I look up to, like their portrayal of characters ranges. It's not just like being typecasted all the time. And there's nothing wrong with being typecasted per se, but it's like it's fun and challenging as an actor to explore as much as you can, whether it be like to the comedy side, to the horror side, to the super dramatic, to the melodramatic, whatever it might be. So
mm,
like for me, like I do sometimes I'll read descriptions of characters and be like, oh, like there's like off the top, I can see that's sort of like the similarities to my own like life, and
mm,
that kind of like is helpful. But also like the type of genre I typically like in film, like I love coming of age stories. So there's a character that's sort of going through that arc, um, and the character description, or sometimes you get to read like the scripts and whatnot. Like I'm definitely drawn towards those types of characters. I'm fortunate enough to have like met some people who are, up and coming as well as, writers, directors, actors, and they're doing their own films and stuff like that. So it's just fun to like kind of be a part of it all in any way. Because I feel like I always have that itch to act. Like I'm
mm,
always looking, I'm always wanting to, like to simply answer your question, like the more coming of age characters kind of draws me. But at the same time, I'm always open for a challenge and
mm,
for something that's going to grow me as an actor.
Two things. Number one, I have no intention of splitting that bounty. I'll do the bare minimum. It ain't my problem if things go south. It's time to tango.
talking about Kill 'Em Now, what is like what drew you to the project? Besides, I'm guessing your friend Ryan, but what drew you to the project mainly?
I met him. I used to work at a Starbucks in a hospital in Whittier,
Mm,
PIH, and that's how I met him. He started working there, and we just like he had at the time a girlfriend there,
mm,
and we were like she's the one who like trained me at Starbucks, and we would
okay.
talk about just like what I was studying, interests, and I'd mentioned I was like an actor and all these different things. And that's how she mentioned how like, oh, like my boyfriend's like starring this movie, like maybe you can like help him join or something. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And so me and Ryan started talking, and sure enough, he was like, oh, if you want to help out, I'm like, yes, of course, please. Like, I'll do anything. Like, it doesn't matter what role it is. Like, let me just get in it.
Mm,
He invited me to the table reading. He's like, hey, I have like a bunch of little miscellaneous characters that I'd love for you to read if you want. And I'm like, yeah, bro, totally. So I end up going to his house. He has a table read there. Super nice, super cool. Met a lot of cool people. One of the main actors, the role that I play in the film, he was casted beforehand and he didn't show up.
oh,
He like just didn't show up to the cold read. Or not to the cold read, but to the table read. And
mm,
Ryan would basically was like, hey, I know you've read the script. Like, do you mind just reading for Ludwig? And I was
mm,
like, yeah, dude, totally. Not really expecting much. Just, I've been to table reads before. And yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen from it. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to expect much. I'm just going to read, help my friend out, anything again. Like for me, I'm like, anything I get my hands on, like behind the scenes, acting wise, like I want to be in. And
mm,
so, yeah, I read for Ludwig at the table read, and afterwards his assistant director and him were like basically like, hey, like we should get Philip to play Ludwig. And so he approached me afterwards and was like, hey, do you want to play this character? Like I'd love to offer it to you. And I was like, yes, yeah, 100%, yeah. And so yeah, that's how I guess the table read was kind of like my audition.
all right.
That's how yeah,
Got you.
happened.
Now, without giving any spoilers, because you want to keep the movie like as secret as possible until it comes out. How would you describe your character?
Ludwig
Mm,
Ludwig is Pastor Lud. He's in his craft, in his
mm,
he's the town's pastor. In his craft, he's like just fully himself.
mm,
When he is teaching the word, when he's in there, he's fully himself. I think he has a lot to grow in.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's kind of hard to say without honestly spoiling, if I'm being really honest.
It's nice of you all to be here. There's no easy way to put this. But I've been giving the Bullhog gang some supplies the past month or so to help keep them at peace. And everything was fine until this incident. But it seems like they're coming for us. We don't know what they want, but we need to be ready.
I want to finish it off with this question real quick. Now, I was wondering, how did you prepare for your character in Kill 'Em Now? And how do you think audiences should prepare for this movie coming out or this short film?
Oh man, okay. My preparation was just a lot of line analysis, really.
Mhm.
I had access to the writer and director regularly,
Mhm.
so I was talking to him a lot about it. But thankfully, he also kind of was just like, "Well, what do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, a lot of the line analysis, and yeah, just doing it over and over and over and over again. That's kind of how I prepared. And I talked to him about this a little bit, was especially in the moment of filming, there were just new things to discover about the lines,
Mhm.
about everything. So that was really fun as well. And yeah, for the movie, honestly, I think people can expect to have a good laugh. I think people can expect to have a good cry. I think people can expect to just, yeah, have a really entertaining time. The film is very all over the place and chaotic in the best of ways. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to see it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Philip, for being on the Breakout and being the first ever interviewee and guest on the Breakout. I'm happy you could be here. And also to you all viewing this, please go check out on July 19th, Kill 'Em Now. The premiere is, I don't know why I did that. The premiere is going to be on July 19th and it's going to be on YouTube as well. But if it is in theaters and you guys can get some tickets on it, get it. Go to it,
Yeah.
please. Man, I honestly did watch the trailer too, and I thought it was a pretty cool vibe. I'm not gonna lie.